So what happens is our body is still taking in light signals, but this time from artificial sources, which then scrambles the messages that our brain's receiving through the body clock, which then disrupts our hormones, disrupts our sleep.
Welcome to Max Wellness. Sometimes people ask me about my orange glasses, so here we are. Today's guest is Andy Mant from Boncharge. He's a world-leading expert in circadian biology. We talk about artificial versus natural light and its impact on our health. Enjoy. Welcome, everybody. I have Andy Mant with me today from Boncharge. I'm super excited. Thank you for being with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
So first and foremost, what I like to ask my guests is, can you tell us a bit more about your journey, how you got into building this whole company, but also into blue light blockers and then a broader spectrum of products related to light?
Yeah, absolutely. It all started for us about sort of 5 years ago, right? So I started the company then, but before that, I had struggles with my health and weight, maybe 8 years ago. And I was trying conventional methods to lose weight and get healthy, the government sort of driven initiatives, eat lots of grains, exercise more, eat fewer calories and all that nonsense. And it just wouldn't work for me, unsurprisingly. So I started to research a lot more myself on how I could do this journey of weight loss in a really holistic manner and sort of evidence-backed manner. So I started to read lots of studies. I stumbled across ketogenic dieting at the time, and that really helped me lose a lot of weight and get healthy. And that led me to really tap into using my brain more critically to look at everything in regards to health. And if I could just fix my diet, which I managed to do, which then had all this amazing benefit on my health and well-being, I thought to myself, what else could I do? And I kept seeing posts about blue light blocking glasses all over different sorts of social media. And I knew that I always struggled with my sleep. So I thought, well, let's try and tackle that. Let's try and fix the problem here. And I found out that light, specifically blue light, impairs our sleep by disrupting the production of something called melatonin. And I bought a few pairs of blue light blocking glasses, just random ones from Amazon or eBay, places like that. They came with this sort of like orange tint. Some of them were yellow, and I tried them, and I saw an improvement in my sleep, but nothing too drastic. It was a bit of an improvement, but I was always in search of optimizing my health, not just improving it. So I read more and more on the literature and found that there was very specific bandings of light that interrupted our sleep and melatonin productions. And I'd managed to get equipment, and I had friends in laboratories that could help me in optics labs test these other brands of blue light glasses to see if they actually blocked the frequencies of light that were known in these academic studies to disrupt our sleep patterns. And every single one of them didn't block in line with this particular study and all the other supporting studies. So I thought to myself, well, let's just make myself a pair. So rather than having them shipped in from China, which is what all these cheaper brands do, I thought, let's get them made in Australia. Let's get them made in an optics lab. Let's develop our own tinting process that will block 100% of the harmful sleep disrupting rays of blue light. Just really for myself, because I knew people in these optics labs, and they produced this pair of glasses for me, and I wore them, and my sleep was off the charts. It was so good. Just literally one night wearing these glasses, I was like, this is insane compared to these other ones. So I tried them. I got my wife to try them. She was like, wow, this is amazing. So I thought, you know what, let's maybe make 10, 20 pairs of these glasses and just send them out to people that are wearing blue light glasses. So people like Luke Story, for instance, he was one of them. We sent them to like Jack Cruz, people like that. And we just like sent them to them and contacted them, just said that we think we've come up with something here that's better than what you guys are using at the moment. We really appreciate your feedback on these. everyone came back saying, "Oh my God, these are incredible. You've got something here. You should sell these." So we just knocked up a really quick Wix website, started selling them, and I just remember selling so many of them just from my interactions with people on social media. And then we were like, well, we've probably got something here. And then we just grew it from there. And it was this philosophy of taking a product that already existed, but making it optimal, because there's so many companies in every aspect of wellness that grab stuff from just random places and sell it and then try and market it in such a way that it does X when in fact it doesn't. So we wanted to put testing behind all of our products. And then that led us to go, you know what, we've got a business here of blue light blocking glasses, and customers were asking about red light therapy. They were asking about lighting. They were asking about sleep masks. They were asking about cold therapy, infrared saunas. And we were just like, well, let's see how we can optimize these products. And the name BLUBlox then eventually didn't fit, because it wasn't just about blocking blue light. It was about harnessing other aspects of wellness, optimizing products, and creating this really good energy within us at a human cellular level. And the name Boncharge then came through as something that, like, wow, that works. Bon is good, and charge, energy, having good energy in our environment. And it just kind of worked, given that we've moved away from blue light. So that's, in a nutshell, the journey that led us to where we are today.
Awesome. I love it. It really explains it all. I really wanted to know where the name came from. So here in Canada, we speak both French and English. So definitely we get the bon and the charge,
Yes.
and Boncharge, it fits well. So I was curious to know. And also I love how it came from really just wanting to make the best product possible for yourself first, and then, sending it out to all these experts in their fields. Of course, Luke Story and Jack Cruz are a big. I'm a big fan of their work, also for integrative health in the world in general. So I love how you got a positive response, and then how it really built up. So congratulations for this, and thanks for doing it for the whole world also. So for the listeners at home, if we want to just go back to the basics, if we want to the concepts, I would say, of natural light, when we talk about blue light versus artificial light versus blue light, how would you define the difference between them?
Yeah, well, one is emitted, so natural light is emitted from the sun, and it is what everything on Earth evolved under. And artificial light is taking electricity, typically, and then turning it into illumination. And it's taking specific photons, which are light particles, wavelengths, that then deliver a specific color of light to your environment, whether it be yellow, white, blue, whatever the color may be. Now, the issues you've got from a human level with light is that everything on this planet evolved under the spin of the Earth and natural light and dark cycles. And what happened to the majority of animals and plants on the planet is they developed something called a circadian rhythm. So some people might have heard of this as a biological clock, body clock, circadian pacemakers, for instance. And what this is it's a clock that is located within your brain. And what it does is, when light passes through your eyes and your skin as well, it allows for messages to be passed to the brain and also other organs and cells within the body, which tells you what time of day it is and what hormones and neurotransmitters to secrete or to suppress, which then creates the optimal life form in humans, animals, plants, whatever it may be. So when the sun rises, for instance, that would trigger a message to the brain that it's morning, we need to feel alert, we release dopamine, we release serotonin, we feel good, we feel happy, and we feel ready to go out, hunt and gather, whatever it may have been. When the day draws to a close, and the sun starts to set and we see more sort of reds and oranges. That then signals to the body clock, which then signals to the brain that it's time to relax. It's time to lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone. It's time to start thinking about releasing relaxing hormones, melatonin, for instance, which helps us prepare for sleep. And then when the night comes, we can have a reaction that takes place in the pineal gland, which releases lots of melatonin, makes us sleepy, and we go to sleep. The problem we've got today is that we've all still got those ancient circadian rhythms in our bodies, but we're no longer in sync and in tune with the rising and setting of the sun. So what happens is our body is still taking in light signals, but this time from artificial sources, which then scrambles the messages that our brain's receiving through the body clock, which then disrupts our hormones, disrupts our sleep, and can lead to issues, chronic disease, issues like, softer issues like migraines, headaches, poor sleep. And this is one of the issues that is being neglected by health authorities across the world. Everyone just thinks they've got us diet and exercise, when in fact light hugely governs how we operate internally. And we've moved away from natural light dark cycles, and we're now living in this world which is perpetually illuminated all the time, telling our brains that it's midday all the time, because the light emitted from artificial sources is very similar to midday solar noon light. So our body is basically like it's daytime constantly. So for instance, things like cortisol, the stress hormone, is released when blue light is present. So light from the sun during the day, light from artificial sources. So our brain is continually thinking it's midday all the time. So our cortisol levels are continually jacked up or reversed, which is then causing stress, feelings of, anxiousness at times. You can also have a reversed cortisol cycle from this, which can lead to, being very alert in the evenings and tired in the morning. It can disrupt your sleep. So light plays a significant role in how we operate hormonally. When we now live under artificial light sources rather than natural light sources, which govern our circadian biology.
For sure. And I see this very frequently with not only patients, but also for myself. It's one of the first things I notice when trying the glasses is really the depth of my sleep, or like the deep sleep got better, and the way I felt in the morning also, especially if I had to work on the computer at night, especially here in Canada, in Montreal, especially in the winter. The sun sets at 4. And of course, I'm many times still working. Fortunately, I don't work at the screen very much. I work with people and I try to modify the lighting. This we can talk about later also. But yeah, the thing that I notice when wearing those at night, and when I take them off, is the most obvious. Like if I, for example, accidentally take them off for some reason, I'm like, whoa, this is bright. And then immediately I get almost like this adrenaline surge of, oh, okay. And it's become more and more, people talk more and more about it also. Huberman Lab, this guy has a big podcast now, and I love how more and more what he says, but many others say that the research is saying the best thing you can do in the morning is to get some sunlight, get outside in the sun, and to get that specific frequency before 10 a.m. or so. And like the opposite would be just to look at your phone first thing in the morning. It's still dark, and then boom, you get this surge of stress. And same thing at night. So it's basically we got this disconnect from our natural cycles. It's brought us lots of neat things. We can talk to each other at night and all those things, but sometimes it can be detrimental to our health. And as you said, the health authorities sometimes they will dismiss that. But bringing it back to sleep being the number one thing that regenerates the body. If you don't have a good sleep, you're going to be most likely not healing as well, more inflamed. And you can get into all those chronic conditions that are caused by suboptimal sleep, hence the importance of optimizing it the best way we can, and this light frequency thing being so crucial. So yeah, I think we've circled the topic very well. The blue light, basically this specific spectrum, is the one that really is kind of like the culprit for inhibiting, as you said, the melatonin and impeding sleep, as opposed to the good spectrum also, which is crucial to be exposed to, ideally in the morning. I see so many patients, like you said, like tired and wired at night. They're in the morning, you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm going to get to bed very early tonight. It's going to be a rough day. And then you get like past dinner, and then you're on your screens and you're like, whoa, okay, I could accomplish so much stuff. And this vicious cycle goes on and on and on. Of course, it's not only light, and then if it becomes chronic, there's so many other components to it. But yeah, you talk a lot about the flicker also with the screens and light bulbs with the artificial light. Could you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Flicker is something that goes sort of under the radar as well, and specifically in the sort of light hygiene environment. Many years ago, there was artificial lighting was mainly incandescent, and it utilized almost like a direct current running through it, and the flicker rate of those bulbs was very low. And the governments around the world wanted to make a more energy efficient lighting option for people. And what they did was they went from this sort of DC current to an alternating current, where electricity was powered through the mains into the light bulbs intermittently. So very fast sort of pulsed current, which allowed for a cost saving in electricity. It uses less electricity, supposedly better for the environment. But what happened as a consequence is that it created something called the flicker effect, which is an invisible effect in lighting that if you record it, you can see very much that there's a very substantial flicker going on in your environment. So you would record it in slow motion. Now, what that does is when our brain receives light messages through the eyes, it comes in waves from photons, and what it does is it pieces together that in the brain, and then it creates an image in the back of your eyes, which then you see as the outside world. When flicker's involved, which is a very unnatural process, your brain has to work incredibly hard, much harder than it would do with natural light or incandescent light or flicker-free lighting, to piece those messages together. So what it does is the brain becomes fatigued much quicker, which leads to headaches, very sore eyes, and in the worst case situations, you can have things like photosensitive epilepsy being caused by flickering lights. It's not something you can see with the eyes in real time, but when you start slowing down the footage of lighting, you can start seeing how bad flicker actually is. And if I take my phone here, people are watching this, they can see it, but if not, I have to take my word. And I record the lighting, like see that video now, see it pulsing? So that's in slow motion, filming the light in the back of this room now where I'm recording in this studio. And you turn it off slow-mo into normal video, nothing. So when you slow down the videos of lighting, you can tell if it's flickering or not. So if people want to test the lighting in their environment, they should take that camera, turn it to slow-mo, and just record the lighting in the room, and you'll see that is what your brain is seeing. And watching it for just a few seconds can make people nauseous. Like, I'm very sick just from looking at that right now. And I don't put myself under that light where I can. The only time I do that is when I'm recording podcasts because of the lighting. But typically I would install flicker-free light bulbs within all the living areas of my house and where I work, and then only use the sort of standard brighter LEDs when absolutely necessary, like a situation that we're in at the moment.
And that's why I wanted to touch base on that, because I see this very commonly again on patients, like either like post-concussion syndromes, people with migraines, uh, people working simply at the computer long hours and a lot. So for sure, there's some recommendations to do on that, like take some pauses, all these things, but definitely there's a few types of glasses and lenses that you offer, but it will definitely help many of those patients also. So that's why I wanted to touch base on the flicker area, but also you have some light bulbs I saw, like the flicker free ones, which because it's not only about like the glasses, it's about optimizing your whole uh, light environment, like you said, light hygiene in the general term.
Yeah,
Which,
it's
by the
absolutely.
way, I haven't tried your flicker-free bulbs, but I've had your the red ones, the straight red ones, and I must say, with a baby, a newborn, like waking up in the middle of the night and having to cease to go about, but to be able also to fall asleep fast and quick, not being like super adrenaline surge, those have helped a lot. uh, that or only also to just read, like before bed, as opposed to like those brighter bulbs. They've been a good help. And going on to your I would start with the glasses and the different types of lenses. I think you carry three types, if I'm not mistaken. Could you go over the different types of lenses?
So with lenses, there's three types, right? So with blue light glasses, you get a clear lens, a yellow lens, and a red lens. Okay, so an amber red lens. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation in the general marketplace because there's a lot of companies that like to jump on the bandwagon of making some money and know absolutely nothing about science. So typically, people will say, "Oh, you never have to wear ugly red glasses again. You can just wear our clear glasses." And it's like, well, no, that's not correct, because both of them are completely different products. It's like comparing, a duster to a vacuum cleaner. They're going to do very different jobs, and work in very different ways to achieve, a similar sort of outcome. So when you look at clear lenses, these are called computer glasses, and they will filter blue light. They don't block it. They don't block any blue light. It's physically impossible for a clear lens to block blue light. So if any company is claiming their lenses that are clear block blue light, categorically they're lying. It's just scientific fact that can't happen. So what they're designed to do is they're designed to reduce digital eye strain during the daytime. So eye strain is caused when excessive isolated blue light from your laptop, computer, smartphone basically causes ocular damage. So the cells within your eyes become damaged from the blue light, and it leaves you at the end of the day with sore eyes, tired eyes, maybe headaches, maybe fatigue. And when you wear clear lens glasses that block between maybe 5 and 13% of blue light, you can reduce the symptoms of digital eye strain. So your eyes will feel fresher during the day when you're using a computer. They won't improve your sleep at all, because they're not designed to do that. They're designed just to filter down blue light during the daytime when you're around digital screens. Then the next level up you've got is yellow lenses. Now, yellow lenses are called light sensitivity glasses. So this is for someone that wants to protect against blue light during the day, but has issues with light sensitivity. So someone that has light sensitivity issues, myself included, will be very sensitive to blue light, will get migraine headaches, quite intense headaches when using screens, very, very sore eyes, and we will also have something called photophobia, where if you go outside, you know, in a real bright part of the day, it can trigger migraines and headaches as well. So you would wear those during the daytime. They do exactly what the computer glasses, the clear lenses do. but they do some more. So they block more blue light, but not all of it. They maybe about 50% rather than 30% like our clear glasses. So they provide that little bit of extra protection during the day. We don't want to block blue light during the day because blue light is essential for our circadian rhythms during the day, but we want to reduce it more depending on our sensitivity to light. So if you're having migraines, severe headaches, the yellow lenses, the light sensitivity glasses are going to be what you need during the day. Will they help improve your sleep? No, they won't. And I'll come on to that in the next pair of lenses, which is orange/red lenses. Now, these are used after sunset to eradicate all of the blue light and the majority of green light, which academic studies have shown disrupt your sleep. What you do is you wear these 2 to 3 hours before bed after sunset. They block all the blue and most of the green light. So they allow you to see what your ancestors would have seen after sunset, which would have been the reds and oranges of the campfire. And it will significantly increase melatonin production, which has been shown in countless studies, and improve your sleep. Now, the issue you've got with red lenses, the amber lenses, is that the majority of them, hence why I started the company that is now Boncharge, is that they do not actually block all of the wavelengths required to optimize melatonin production. So you've got to be careful where you're buying these glasses from, because your brain doesn't care if 1% of blue light comes through or 100%. It will still trigger the incorrect hormonal response or an impaired hormonal response. So you want to make sure that when you're investing in a pair of blue light blocking glasses with an orange and red amber lens, that there is significant data to back up that those glasses block between 400 and 550 nanometers in that range 100%. And if they don't, save your money, because you might as well not be wearing it.
I saw a couple of your videos also testing your own products versus like the whole spectrum. You can see also the graphs and the reports. I love that. And you can really see the difference, especially in the like green and blue spectrum, as you mentioned. That is really where it's critical to have it blocked for sleep. And I love, I really see the difference, because I've had most of the models like on my journey. I've started, I was like, okay, let me try those. And what I love about, these are the amber ones, by the way, the ones who are watching the video. And you can adjust your prescription. If you have a visual prescription in it, you can order it with your prescription, which is another big advantage. And also they look pretty cool. That's the other one. The other thing I wanted to mention, they look very good, and you have like this selection of many models. You can even try it on your face and all those things. So it's a very well-made website, and I love the products. And as I said, like the yellow ones for patients with concussions, migraines, who work a lot at the computer, light sensitivity, for occupational stresses or like post-traumatic stresses. But for the sleep, you really want to get those red amber ones for sure. You have many more products also, like the red light therapy also. Could you elaborate a bit more on the red light therapy?
Yeah, absolutely. So light is very powerful, and certain wavelengths of light can be both good and bad. So as we've touched upon, blue light is good during the day from natural sources, but after dark, it's disrupting your sleep. Red light is a very interesting one, because there's really only huge benefits to be taken from red light. So there's been over 4,000 peer-reviewed studies on red light therapy, and also about 300 of them have been the gold standard of academic studies. Now, what these studies are looking at is how red light can be used to help certain levels of disease issues, health issues that we may have. Now, the role that red light plays is a restorative nature. So what it does is, rather than what blue light does, which is disrupt and damage cells, red light actually restores and rejuvenates cells by activating and improving mitochondrial respiration, so the production of energy. Now, nature's very clever, because obviously there's a lot of blue light in the sun, And there's also a lot of red light during the sun. So any damage that blue light's causing us from the sun, the red in it is then fixing during the day as well. But what we're doing today is we're under artificial light, which has copious amounts of blue light in it and barely any red light. So we're getting all the damage from the blue light during the day and none of the restoration. Now, science has managed to find very specific frequencies of red light, both visible and invisible, that can really help us at a cellular level. Those are 630, 660 nanometer red light, so that's visible red as we would see the color, and 850 nanometers invisible near infrared light. Now, what those three frequencies of light do is that they help free up more oxygen during electron train transport, which is our energy production system, and allows our body to utilize energy and produce energy more efficiently. And what this does is, with excess and more efficient energy being produced, we can reduce inflammation and we can restore and repair cells at a mitochondrial level. Now, you can't just utilize any old red light. It has to be a very powerful red light. So it has to be either from the sun or from a red light therapy device that basically emits a very high irradiance within those bandings. So you can't just go and buy a red light bulb and expect that to help you. It's got to be very powerful. And then you utilize the different frequencies of light for different things. So the visible spectrum of red light, 630 and 660 nanometer red light, is extremely good at skin level. So what it does is it boosts collagen production. It improves fibroblast production, which then leads to more collagen. So it's good for wrinkles, it's good for wound healing, it's good for scar reduction, and it's good for basically helping anything at a skin surface level. If you want to have muscle repair from, say, exercise, maybe you want to help with bone recovery, you can utilize the invisible frequency of near infrared light, 850 nanometers, as this type of light penetrates deeper into the muscles and into the bones. So there's a whole array of red light therapy devices on the market which can do this for people. It's just choosing the ones that issue and emit the highest irradiance and also don't flicker, because you don't want flickering lights in your environment. Unfortunately, a lot of red light therapy devices in the market flicker. So you want to just ensure you get the correct ones and you utilize it really for just 10 to 20 minutes a day, and you start to see some huge benefits after 6 to 8 weeks of use of these types of devices.
That's what I was curious about, also the time of use that you recommend, because I haven't tried it myself yet, but I've seen some pretty interesting results, some pretty interesting also cases of for recovery, skin, inflammation, and mood also. So that's why I was curious. I believe
Absolutely.
You carry
I mean,
a few products.
There's some fantastic other results that studies have shown, which is great for weight loss, cellulite. It can help with stretch marks, and it can also help improve your sleep as well, because it's a very calming, restorative color of light. Acne, eczema, things like that, psoriasis. So there's some great methods out there, hair regrowth as well. So it can be literally utilized for so many different things.
That is very interesting. And what would you recommend, to optimize for optimal light hygiene? What would be your top things that people can do at home?
Yeah, a lot of it's free. So you just need to make sure that the light you see is majority natural light. So in the morning, as soon as that sun has risen, go outside and look outside. You don't have to look directly at the sun, but just be outside when that sun has risen for at least 5 minutes. It's great to do it barefoot so you can ground to the earth, which is great for reducing inflammation. But allow your eyes to see the sun first in the morning. Don't roll over and look at your phone, because that can disrupt your circadian rhythm. Just go outside and see the sunrise. Now, during the day, Also, make sure you're getting regular sun breaks, going outside. So the sun's frequencies of light changes throughout the days, which sends different messages to your body clock. So just make sure you're taking regular breaks, eat your lunch outside, even if it's cloudy or raining, get outside for some natural light. That will help boost serotonin production, which is later used in the evening to produce melatonin. When the sun sets, make sure you're wearing blue light blocking glasses with the amber red lenses, and don't take those off before you go to bed. Make sure you've got some flicker-free red lights in your house for after sunset, which will help calm and relax you and improve melatonin production. Utilize blackout sleep masks when you're sleeping, because blue lights from outside, from car headlights, street lamps, neighbors' headlights, even within your bedroom, from alarm clocks and things, can emit blue light, which can disrupt your sleep whilst you're sleeping. Reducing EMF levels within your house as well. EMF has been shown to disrupt sleep, so turn the Wi-Fi off when you go to bed is another good hack. Salt lamps in and around the house are also another good thing to have. Negative ions help harmonize the environment, which is good for relaxation, but also the light it emits is very low in blue light. So those are probably the tips I would give people to really tidy up their light hygiene.
I love it. I love it. And also, there's all these apps that I recommend people that they use. Flux being one I love. Also, the night shift and night mode, like on the phones now, it's integrated in most phones. But the thing is, it's gonna only affect the screen that you're looking at. But then again, as you mentioned, sometimes like the lights that are out in the street, but also in your house, they can, affect your eyes also. So that's why for the most optimized sleep, that's why the glasses come in very handy, especially for people who need, well, for everyone, because I believe everyone should get the best sleep they can, because it's the driver of everything else, your well-being, your energy, your healing of whatever you might be suffering from, your inflammation. People talk a lot about diet, nutrition, water, hydration, exercising, but sleep is, I repeat myself a lot on this podcast, but it's so overlooked. And that's why I wanted to have this discussion with you also, because the light spectrum and the light that we're exposed to, we don't think about it as often. You and me, we do. For us, it's our everyday, discussion with the people we come across. But for most people, many people ask me, like, what are those about? Like, those glasses, are they just to look cool, or to what degree do they really help? And I must say they are a big game changer on the quality of just being soothed, getting ready to sleep. It's a game changer. Sometimes I forget because of the newborn, and I'm busy and all these things, and I will really see the difference, because I'll be like still wired a bit later than I should. And as soon as I put those on, you automatically like just go down a notch. It's hard to describe, but yeah, I think people get the message. People with seasonal affective disorders, I see that very often also, which are many times, there's so many factors, but many times affected by the artificial light. So I would say my takeaway message for this discussion with you is really, the light environment really, really matters more than we could think, than people could think. And light hygiene, light environment is crucial for better sleep, but for better recognition, for better mood, for better healing, for so many things. That's why I love your products. That's why I recommend your products frequently, because we all have jobs, and people have to go to the computer at some point. It's hard to live like cavemen, like you said, and just turn everything off. I know some people do, but not everyone can do so, especially here in the winter. It's harder because at 4 it gets dark. So yeah, what would be your biggest takeaway from our talk together for people at home listening to us?
Yeah, I think it's very important for people to firstly understand that blue light's not just emitted from your computer. So sticking a flux or an iris on isn't going to solve your issues. Blue light's from your TV, your smartphone, your house lights, your office lights. It's even in your fridge, you know. So what people need to do is they need to think, what would my ancestors have seen? Okay, from a light perspective. They would have seen the sunrise. They would have seen the sunset. They would have been outside a lot during the day. They wouldn't have seen blue light and artificial light after sunset. So it's utilizing biohacking tools to mimic the light environment that our ancestors would have seen to optimize our circadian rhythm, which will then optimize your health. And to do that, it's being outside as much as you can without sunglasses on, during the beginning and end of the day to get a correct messaging. It's blocking blue light after sunset by using blue light blocking glasses. It's removing as much artificial blue light from your house as possible after sunset, installing red bulbs or full spectrum light bulbs to allow the correct color of light into your room after sunset, and really thinking more consciously about how light is impacting your overall well-being. How is it making you feel? You know, it's like dieting. You could eat a diet and feel a certain way for a certain period of time, but you don't know how good you could feel if you change the diet to a diet that works for you. So what you need to do, what I recommend to people, is you need to try this for a few weeks by wearing blue light blocking glasses after sunset, then try and go back to not wearing them, and you'll realize how screwed up your circadian rhythm and health actually was once you make that change. So it's all very well someone sitting there going, oh, that won't work for me. Try it, and then try and look at blue light after sunset without your glasses on. You feel like your eyes are burning out.
That's a good one. And I really agree. It's all about like being conscious, being aware of our light environment. And to be on top of that, to be in harmony with our biology, our circadian, our rhythms. Like when you want to go against our biology, what's really like our internal clocks, you run into trouble sooner than later. So
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was very well put.
I was going to say, people need to also realize that, you know, it's not like sustaining an injury, right? So if you are playing football or you're running and you break a leg, that's an immediate issue. And you then fix that issue and recover and you know, hopefully don't do it again. With diet and light, these things don't show until you're much older. So they take time to progress to serious issues. So you might be listening to this now, watching this now, going, "Oh yeah, I haven't worn blue light glasses. You know, I'm fine. I'm okay." But you're only okay until you're not. And these things are slowly eroding away your health, which is something that also needs to be considered. You know, and you could eat McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell or whatever it is you eat every day of your life for 30 years and not have any issues. But you know, when you start aging, you're going to start seeing some severe mitochondrial issues and health issues, maybe diabetes, maybe heart disease from eating that crap. And, you know, the same could be true with light. You know, you could be fine for now, but, you know, 30, 40, 50 years of poor sleep, you know, your body not storing or repairing itself, you're going to start seeing some, you know, more serious issues as you age. So people just got to be cognizant of that as well.
Yeah, and as you said, you try it for 4 to 6 weeks, and then you go back to your old ways, and you're immediately going to notice a difference. Same thing with diet. If you go off fast foods or processed food for 4 to 6 weeks, of course, if you start reintroducing it, you'll notice that you were, oh, how could I have like gone about like that way
Yeah.
like for so long? That's the same thing. It affects your quality of life on a daily basis. It's just that the body's well made in a way, it adapts very well. So you don't really notice it until you access that, level of quality or well-being that you've never accessed before, and then that drop is noticeable. And you're gonna
Yeah.
notice it like immediately. And as you said, the fracture, but then again, you're not gonna heal that fracture as effectively if you don't sleep properly. So it really is the motor for everything else. So in conclusion, where can people find you on social media, your website, of course, and anything else that's worth mentioning?
I think the best place is our website, so boncharge.com. I write all the content in the blog section, so there's a hell of a lot of really good content in there. All my content is medically reviewed as well by a board certified holistic physician in the US. So everything is fact checked and ensured that all the evidence is placed within those articles. So rest assured, that's all been backed up by the appropriate professionals as well. You also subscribe to the mailing list because we send out a lot of education on there. You can do that from boncharge.com. Facebook is good as well. If people want to join our Boncharge community group in there, there's sometimes some posts that we put out, but really the website is the best tool. Or they can just punch my name into Google if they want to listen to other podcasts as well that I've been on.
We've talked before also, and the Boncharge has been kind enough to give us a discount code for the listeners. I'll put it down into the show notes for 15% off the website and all the products that you guys offer that we've mentioned in this episode. So thank you very much for that. If it can help people who are interested into the products to improve their health through the products. So I'm super happy to contribute with you guys for that too, because I love your products. I own them and I use them, and I recommend them on a weekly basis to whoever needs them. So thank you so much for having been with me today. It's been a pleasure. And I know it's morning. It must be 7, 8 a.m. In Australia right now?
Yeah, and it's tomorrow as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. We're bridging the day here. So I'm going to sleep soon, and I'm going to wish you an amazing day for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.